I read a review that someone made about this movie, and they said that it was so convoluted, it's claustrophobic. And I tend to agree. I'm speaking about the movie Armand. I think it's a Norwegian film. So foreign language, subtitled, whatever. That wasn't an issue for me at all. That's not even one of the cons. I have multiple cons about this film. Unfortunately, because it got started off really solid for me. I was drawn in to what was happening and very curious to see how the dialogue was going to carry us through this entire journey that these characters were going to be taken, because this is pretty much this is dialogue heavy. That's what this film is. The first hour, I have no real complaints about the first hour. The problem is it kind of falls apart in the last hour, or let's say the last third. It's about a 2-hour movie. It's longer than it needs to be. Let me just give you the setup. This mother, her name is Elizabeth. She's kind of a celebrity-ish in the area. Maybe she'd been an actor or something. And she is being called to her son's school. An incident has happened. She doesn't know what it is. We don't know what it is until she gets there. She sits down with like the administrators of the school. There's 3 people involved in the meeting, plus a husband and wife who were parents of another child that were involved in this supposed altercation / incident between Armand, Elizabeth's son, and John, the son of the other parents. You are given bits of information little by little as the dialogue goes on, and when they take breaks during the meeting, some people will talk and you get a little bit more information about the characters, some backstory. By the time the movie is over, you have a pretty good idea as to what was going on with Elizabeth, what had happened in her family before all the events of this movie, the dynamic, the situation between Elizabeth and the mother and father of the other child. So that was good to have an understanding of that by the time it's done. But the problem is, well, there were several problems. This was directed by, well, this is called a thriller. This is not a thriller. I don't know why they call it a thriller. It's directed by, saying his name is going to be ridiculous. But I think the reason I'm mentioning this specifically is because I thought I heard that his grandfather is Ingmar Bergman. We all know who that is. But anyway, that's why I paused to look that up. So this movie had so much promise. Something that I really liked about it was the building of uneasy tension. You've got this mother. She's in this situation where she is the lone person defending her son against these accusations. And something that I also liked was that you don't really know what's true. Like maybe Armand did do these things, but maybe he didn't. How do we know? We don't know. I mean, it becomes a little clear by the time the movie is done what the real situation was. But I did like that building of the uneasy tension. I did like the very slow handing out of information. I liked watching the dialogue unfold between the characters when they were having this meeting. The palpable tension. It was like tension so thick you felt like you could just touch it. And I thought that was very effective at that. The dialogue, I've mentioned the dialogue multiple times. It's like I said, it's very dialogue heavy. Not really anything super actiony that's going on in here at all. This is just pure drama. This is not thriller. I mean, you could say it's thriller in the no, it's not thriller. It's not. A Companion is a thriller. This is not a thriller movie. It's just character drama film. I also felt like the acting was pretty solid and the characters felt authentic. And those are some high positives for me. But that's really where the pros end for me in this movie. I started to notice that it would do things like linger a bit too long on certain moments, longer than it needed to. Shots that didn't feel important. Sometimes they would show like pictures of students that had been there, students that were connected with the characters in the film, but it would just like linger on them like it was something huge and ominous that we were going to have revealed to us. The shot of this child in this picture, almost like it was an image from The Shining, you know, the picture of Jack Nicholson, like, oh, what's this reveal? And it's just like this kid. Okay, like what? It's nothing. We didn't need these moments. Maybe just a passing recognition. Oh yeah, my husband used to go to this school. But we didn't need these repeated shots of certain kids at the school in the pictures. Also, how some things went on a little bit longer. Well, let me get a little bit more specific about that, because I've already talked about things lingering too long. There is a scene where a character has a fit of uncontrollable laughter that I think at some point turned into tears, crying, or whatever. That thing went on way too long. I didn't time it, but it felt like it was probably at least 2 minutes plus of the laughter, and then continued on and went into the crying. So probably maybe 3+ minutes of just this. Certainly, it was effective at getting across to you the uncomfortable nature of what was going on, but it was too long. It's like it wore out its welcome, and I started to get angry at the character because they were just, it was too much, too long, and it was not having the intended effect. I don't think. There was also another, like, weird things would happen in this movie, unexplainable things. Specifically, there's one big thing that's hugely unexplainable and really weird and stupid. But before that, there was a scene where a character was in a hallway doing this really weird, convoluted looking dance. And the music that you're hearing, it's not really music because there was no music playing. So I don't know if it was like music in this person's head or whatever, but they were doing this really dumb dance. It was like, why? Out of the blue, like, why? Are you trying to demonstrate to us that this is how the character is attempting to deal with the stress of the situation? But it was so random and weird and just ridiculous. And then the janitor joins in on the dance. It's like, what the heck is going on here? That should have been cut completely out. That went on way too long. I started fast forwarding. Right arrow, right arrow, right arrow, right arrow. It's just like, get this dumb thing over with. It's just so stupid. Then there's another part where two characters are having an argument, and the argument, like, it was interesting. Like, this is stuff that's being revealed. And then one of the character goes to walk out of the room and then turns around and does this weird silent scream at the person that they're talking to. Like, open their mouth like they were screaming, but nothing coming out. And it was... Stuff like this chipped away at the authenticity and the realism that had been going on before, because they were behaving really irrationally and stupid and weird. And yeah, I wrote, now it's just getting stupid. She comes across a kid playing a cello alone and a choir of kids singing. And it was like, maybe this was stuff that's supposed to be all in her mind. But what was the purpose of this? What was this about? What did this mean? Don't know. Who knows? I don't care. Because it made no sense. Oh, and then the icing on the top of this terrible cake, she goes in this room and all these people start putting their hands on her, and it's like loving and caressing, and then they all start kind of like pulling at her, and it's like, what the hell was this about? And that went on far too long. I mean, all these really dumb things went on way too long. And this is the convoluted part of it. And that's stuff that started to piss me off. I was starting to get angry at this movie. They should have chopped all of that nonsense out, and this film would have been right on up there with me. But this stuff dragged it down like hard. You know, I was skipping through the whole thing with the people with their hands on her. I'm just skipping through the kids singing, kid playing cello, skip. Let's get on to the story, because this is stupid. And whatever you're trying to impart to us about this character, it's not working, because it's just making everybody seem crazy. So yeah, I was not a fan of this film overall. I would say specifically the last half of the film, last third of the film, that ruined this movie for me. This movie could have been so much better. It felt very pretentious with this stuff that was happening, because, like, I don't necessarily want to have my hand held as an audience member, but I don't want to be floundering, wondering what the hell is going on. Like, it needs to be cohesive, coherent. It needs to make sense. And some stuff that happened in here did not make sense, and I didn't like that at all. So that left a very bad taste in my mouth about this film, almost to the point that I say I feel like I wish I hadn't spent 2 hours of my life on it, but there were those good moments. However, I feel like this director does not know how to effectively carry out a story like this. And that's unfortunate because it got off to such a strong start. Anyway, that is all I have to say about the movie Armand. If you have seen it, and you understand what the heck all that craziness was about, please enlighten me because, well, I think even if you try to, it's still going to be stupid to me, and it's unfortunately not going to change how I feel about it. And that's a shame because I was having a good time with it for quite a bit until it fell apart, completely jumped the shark. Okay, I'm definitely wrapping this one up. We'll see you guys later. Bye.